Good day, Chino Valley educators. This is yet another in a series of short videos showing you how to create assignments. If you are in your very new Google Classroom and you wish to send the kids a little quiz, this is the best way to do it. When you tap on classwork, you're on your classwork screen. I can see previous work and assignments that I've posted here. I'm going to tap on the word create, and this time I'm going to choose quiz assignment. And when I do, it opens up Google Forms for me. Of course, I have the regular information here that goes with assigning anything, but I also have this blank quiz. And so I'm going to start with, of course, a nice title. Okay, so this will be a California Regions quiz. Instructions are pretty straightforward because what they're going to see in front of them is a quiz with instructions and basically multiple choice, short answer, or long answer questions. As usual, I can add resources in here, but I can also add resources inside the quiz itself. So let's get busy with this quiz that's currently called Blank Quiz. And of course, because it's currently called Blank Quiz, that's not very informative. I'm going to, in the upper left-hand corner, rename this quiz California Regions Quiz. And now just name that. And down here, I'm also going to make sure it's called the same thing. Sometimes when I tap on that, it'll name it for me, and other times it won't. I just don't get it. Anyway, down here, untitled question, I'm going to enter my very first question. All right, there's my question, and I can choose what kind of question I want it to be. Over here, it has the AI element for Google Forms has chosen multiple choice, but I don't have to stick with that. Maybe I don't want to give them a list. Maybe I want a short answer. And so I want them to be able to write in the answer here. I'm going to ask them very specifically, answer with a digit, and I'll show you why, or answer with a number. Okay, so the correct answer is 4, but I said digit, so I'm going to change that down here in the answer key. That was just suggested. I go into my answer key and I provide a correct answer, and the answer is 4. Now, I could add another correct answer just in case those kids are not reading my instructions, and I can include 4. And if my students are inclined to answer with uppercase, I can do that. Or this. Basically, I provided them with every possible answer that would be considered correct and mark all other answers incorrect. That's going to provide me with the kind of support I need. I don't have to go through and check these answers. This is worth 1 point, and I can add answer feedback if I wish, but we'll do that on a different one. For right now, we're just going to leave it like that. Our question is done. Those are the answers that are acceptable. That's a short answer right here. Great. Now, we started off with a little more complicated question, so let's go ahead and add another question. And this time, we're just going to make it an easy old multiple choice version. Right here, there's a vertical menu, and if I tap the plus sign, I'm able to then enter yet another question. Okay, so which physical region? Again, it's saying, do you want that to be multiple choice? And I do. So now I want to enter the possible answers. Central Valley, and each time I just tap on add option to add the next option. And there's only 4 regions, so this won't take long. All right, now this time when I want to enter the answer key, I'm going to choose the right answer, which is right there, the coastal region. And this time I'm going to show you, after adding the point, answer feedback. Incorrect answers might be prompted with they built B-A-U-T-I-F-U, beautiful canoes. That's a hint. And my correct answer is terrific. So I can give answer feedback. Now what's interesting is, instead of just giving them my words, I could instead have chosen to link a short YouTube video about the Chumash Indians, or a link to a web page that would provide them with a little more information. That adds so much magic to immediate feedback for your kids. So I'm going to click save right now. There we go. Looks like everything is ready. I am done. Indeed. I can go ahead and click this to add another question, and this time I'm going to ask them to pardon me, describe something. So that's going to be not multiple choice at all. Hold on. And as soon as I entered that question, you can see the AI, artificial intelligence, detected that with a word like describe, students are probably going to need a paragraph or so, or a longer area to answer their question. Again, you have choices, but AI has decided that that's a good one, and you know what? AI was right. Under answer key, this is going to be next to impossible to choose all the exact words that are going to be included in that. So I'm not going to be able to actually do that. I am going to be able to, however, provide points and add some answer feedback. But my feedback is more likely going to come from me when I see the actual answers, because my students will be giving me such a variety, and I will have to hand score anything that's a paragraph like that. So I'm done. There wasn't much I needed to do there. Now sometimes teachers like to separate out sections in their quizzes. Maybe you even have a different section for each question if you don't want more than one question showing up on a screen. And to do that, to separate questions so that students see a next button at the bottom of the screen and then go on to the next question, down here in this vertical menu, it says untitled section. I can name it page 2 and then add my question that's going to show up on page 2. And there we go. We have another question ready. This one would be about the California Valley quail, and I'm going to just enter that here. And it says multiple choice, but perhaps this is an opportunity for kids to note that it could be in a couple of different places. This bird might be in a couple of different regions. In which region, maybe I should say, or regions. And now with checkboxes, students can choose more than one answer. So I'm going to go ahead and type in those region names again. Okay, I've entered the 4 regions, as well as just toss in a thing to see if they're even reading. And now answer key, and this time when my students get to go through and check, they can go Central Valley and Mountain region. Actually, sometimes you see them in the desert region, so I'm going to go ahead and choose that. So answer feedback. I'm just going to go ahead and give them a good job here, and down here I'll give them a little video about the California Valley quail. I found a great short video in YouTube, and to use it I want to make sure that it has been approved for use in our domain. If it is not, please send the URL to Help Desk and they will approve that for you. And in order to share it, I'm going to go down here to share. It pops open this. I'm going to highlight that address, Control C to copy. If I want it to start at a certain place, I can determine that by moving the start button. But this whole thing is actually quite good. So I'm going to have it start at 0. I didn't really need to check anything off there. And now I'm going to, since I've Control C copied that link, I'm going to follow my tabs over here to the California Regions quiz. And this is for the incorrect answers right here. I'm going to post the URL inside this box. I know you guys can watch this over and over, so I'm not going to worry about it. Select right there, and I'm ready. Fantastic. So now I have 2 pages of questions, one section and with 3 questions, one section with 1 question. I have got checkboxes and short answer and paragraph, and I've got feedback on my questions. I want to make sure that everything's got points. Right here I don't have any points, so I better go back to my answer key and provide them with the appropriate pointing number of points. I can see up here at the top of my page, a total number of points is 5. This whole time I've been working on this, my quiz has been saving live. So I am in great shape to go ahead and move along. But a couple of things I might want to personalize. If you care, you can customize the theme or the colors for your quiz. You can preview what it looks like right here. And then there is the next page. Notice it let me move forward to the next page without giving answers here. I better go back and make sure, since it's a quiz, that every question is required. So let's go ahead and close this preview tab and check to make sure. Oh, better make sure that's required. And let's see, that is also required. That is required. That is required. And under settings, if there's something I want to customize, I better do that here. Your students will see this in their Google Classroom, so you don't need to collect their email addresses. They will already be logged into Chino Valley Unified, but we're going to limit them to one response because the quiz doesn't need to be taken over and over again. We don't want our students editing after they submit it, and we don't need them to see summary charts or text responses right now. Under presentation, we were in general. Under presentation, show progress bar, maybe. If there are 50 questions as opposed to 3 questions, they might be curious about how far along they are. And some students will, some quizzes might be shuffled. You might want to allow for the questions to be shuffled so that students aren't sharing answers for, number 3 is A and number 14 is B. Shuffling the question order is a pretty good idea. Confirmation message is just the message they get at the very end of the test. So talk soon. And finally, under where it says quizzes, if there's anything else you want to alert them to, they will see by default their missed questions and the correct answers and the point values, and they will get their this information immediately. If you need to hand score something, you might want to choose later after manual review, which means that in this particular case, yes, you need to correct that paragraph that was about describing the differences between the desert region and the Central Valley region. One last thing, if this is not a quiz, you don't want it to be a quiz, you want it to be a survey, you want to ask kids opinions about something, you can now change this from a quiz into a survey by just clicking this button right here. I'm not going to do that. This one is a quiz. Its best use for a quiz assignment is as a quiz, so I'm going to save my settings. And again, everything is a live save. All changes saved in Drive. I'm going to close this tab right here and make sure that I am choosing the tab for my assignment. Notice it still says blank quiz. Don't let that scare you. I'm just going to refresh my page with that little circular arrow, and it's going to come up with the California Regions quiz with a proper name, saved as a draft. Here it is again, California Regions quiz, and look, it's renamed it. Everything is ready to go. I've allowed grade importing because I want this to grade it for me and import those scores for my students based on their email addresses. They're one response per user. One last thing, lock mode on Chromebooks. Go ahead and give this a shot. It'll only work on Chromebooks, but if you lock it, it will disable the student's ability to have open any other tabs while they're taking this quiz. Now it's just simply time to assign it. This is James. All students, absolutely. Number of points, do you remember? If you don't remember, go ahead and open it and see. I remember it is worth 5 points. Due date, of course, you want to make sure you get it back in time to then follow up and respond. So let's go here. Have that due on the 9th. And of course, I have my regular work time. So I want to make sure that I've got everything turned in at the right time. I think that's about it, folks. If you want to schedule this to be released at a certain day or time, that's probably a good idea. Since I have it due on April 9th, let's have this assign on April 8th. We have a different kind of classroom set up. I'm going to go ahead and issue this 2 days before the due date. All right. It's now scheduled for April 7th at 8 a.m. My students will see it, and it'll be due by 9 a.m. on April 9th. It'll look like this until it's released. You will receive an email in your Outlook email stating that you've just released a scheduled quiz, and your students will receive an email if they are a fourth grader or older, letting them know that this has shown up. Thanks very much. Have a terrific day.